I lost 4 freelance copywriting clients in the span of a single week. Now, this may seem like a crazy bad thing, and especially if you're a copywriter and you've lost a client before, you know how bad it can feel. But it's actually kind of been a blessing in disguise, and I'm going to go over exactly why later in the video. But before I go exactly why it's a blessing, go over exactly why it's a blessing in disguise, I want to walk you through how I got those clients and then what I did right, what I did wrong, and then also how I lost them and what I've learned and how I'm going to move forward from here. So, how I got these clients was, I want to say, June or July 2024. I signed my first actual client, good client. I liked the guy. We worked together for about 4 or 5 months. But the big problem is if you're a copywriting client, do not approach someone as an outreach, right? If you're going to someone, reaching out to them, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what niche, what type of copy you're writing, always have an offer. Always serve a small percent of the market until you can become a big fish and serve a general part of the market. And the reason why is because if you don't have a specific offer and you can't solve a specific problem for the people you're reaching out to, it's never going to work out because you don't have specific metrics and specific things to do for them, to track. The list is endless. But the thing is, and the thing I learned with him is I worked with him for about 5 months, I want to say. I doubled his newsletter subscribers. I nearly doubled his YouTube subscribers. But I made very, very little revenue. And our whole deal, which again, I went into this client with no offer, no actual deliverables of what I'm going to get him, what results I'm going to get him. I was just kind of like, I'll take over your marketing. Cool. Awesome. I was stoked. And I got results for him and I made him money, all the good stuff, but it just wasn't enough. And the only reason I lost this client is because another agency that had a better offer, sold him better, took him over. And I basically got kicked out of the marketing position inside of his business. I was running everything from organic to paid to everything. So that's the first client. And then just shortly after, I think about a few weeks after I signed that first client, the first actual client, is I signed this other client. And it was great. I was stoked. It was kind of a weird situation, but I signed him, right? And mind you, in this current few clients, I signed them on revenue share. So it was all up to me to make them money so I can get paid. There was no retainer. There was nothing. No down payment, no initial payment. And that brings me into my next client. So the second client was also a revenue share. But what happened is I didn't validate his authority in what he was doing. So what he was doing was launching an info product with no traffic source, with the info product not even being built, and then also a very loose plan of how we're going to scale. And I was stoked. I wrote the sales page. I wrote the VSL. I basically built the product for him. I mean, virtually, I built the product. We basically used AI to build the product. And we had it all set up. We were ready to go. And then all of a sudden, him and his business partner in another business that he runs was like, oh, actually, we're going to delay this a month or two. Now, I should have cut that off immediately when they said that, because you need to recognize if you're an agency owner, a copywriter, anything, any type of client, and you're working to build a product or market a product, if they're saying, oh, we're going to push this product to the side, and that's your main focus, that's what you came to help them, you need to cut them off. You need to be like, hey, pleasure working with you. If you have any other products, we can redo our terms, et cetera, et cetera. And then from there, you can move on. But if the product that they're selling is not the majority of their focus, or at least half of their focus, do not work with them. If they are focused on another business, it's never going to work. The content's not going to be good. They're not going to record good content. They're not going to have time to talk to you. A slew of things. Many, many things. The product's not going to be good. The list is endless. Point is, that's the second client. Now let's move on to the third, the fourth, and then also the fifth, which the fifth I'm still working with, but we'll get there. So the third client was, if I remember correctly, he's actually a pretty high level guy. He's a pretty big shark in the e-commerce space. And I approached him with an offer this time. I was like, hey, I have an offer. This is my offer. I'm going to do X, Y, Z. So I got that part down. I was rolling in it. I felt like the man. I was on the sales call. He was hyped. I was hyped. We were like, let's do this. I'm like, awesome. Here's my price. He's like, totally. What's that going to get me? I'm like, this. He's like, awesome. Cool. Fantastic. I send him the contract. I send him the payment link. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Little did I know, 2 months later, he would say to me, hey, I just think your pricing's a little too expensive. Maybe I'll contact you in the future for some work. Now, another lesson for you, if you're any type of service provider, agency, freelance, doesn't matter. If clients or leads or prospects, I'm calling this guy a client, but a loose term, right? He was more of a lead or a prospect, if you will. But the point is if the client or prospect doesn't send payment, sign contract, whatever your onboarding process is, within the first week, be like, or not even, you could say a day, 2 days, right? But I would say a week because that's fairly reasonable. I mean, honestly, ideally you just get them to sign everything, send the payment, or if there's an initial payment, on the call. That's the perfect way to do it. Just get them in there, boom, boom, done. With that said, if you have a client and they don't send you the payment or any of your onboarding process within the first week or so, just be like, hey, this is the timeline. If you're not feeling comfortable, totally understand. If you're not busy, we need this in the week, or else we can redo the sales call. We can revisit our terms, but basically we can't work together if you don't send it within the first week. And just having those super strict terms is what is going to get you super far. Because once you sow your authority in that way, they're going to be like, oh shit, there's scarcity. I need to get this done if I want X result. And if it matters enough to them, and if you dig the pain deep enough, and if you build up the desire on the sales call for your product or service, whatever problem that solves for them or whatever desired outcome they want and your product/service fulfills that for them, then boom, you have those people as a client. But with that said, last client. Let's go on to the last client. So this other client, he had a low ticket product. He had a free lead magnet, if you will. And I optimized everything in terms of sales processes and getting everyone in the free lead magnet and then converting them. I was helping him, but I realized at a very crucial moment, and I touched on this point earlier, but I'll bring it up again because I'm telling the story, which is he was not serious. This is not his main focus. And I urge you so strongly, if you are a copywriter or an agency that helps products or info businesses especially, but any product, any service, if these people are not serious and is not at least half of their focus is going on to this product, do not sign them as a client, because they will be a nightmare. You'll have to meet deadlines, but then they're never going to use your work. And then this is the crazy part. They're never going to pay you because they don't make results easy, right? You have to keep pushing them. For example, one of my old clients, the first client that I was telling you about, in simple terms, I would write him a landing page, write him a sales page. I'm like, hey, this is this. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you want to tweak anything. He's like, oh no, that's awesome. We'll use that. I'm like, awesome. Perfect. Let's split test. Let's do this. I'm confident that it will convert. And it did convert. But here's the thing. It would have converted more if he used my headline. And this is the crazy part. You have to write this in your contract as well. I'm dropping some super sauce on you. If you're still watching this video, then you're about to get a lesson of the lifetime. You have to put in your terms and conditions that if they do not use your work and whatever, that voids completely everything in the contract. Now, this is especially good for you as an agency owner because it will show them the validity of your work, one, but also if they void your contract by negating what you actually do for them, you get to keep all the money. Simple as that. And people don't read the fine print. That's the crazy part about business. And if you have a semi-long contract, people are going to be like, this is too long. I bet it's fine. And they sign. Now, if people ask you about like, hey, what's this? I don't really like this. It's like, well, I mean, if we don't perform, then we're backed by a guarantee. At least that's how I operate in my agency or my business. And I'll get into I just spoiled the ending a little bit. But with that said, this fourth client, let's get back to that. I went on a little bit of a tangent. But if people aren't, if this business that you're marketing for these people in any way, whether you're running ads or you're running their email list or whatever, if this is not their main focus and their product isn't fantastic, their structure isn't fantastic, their vision isn't fantastic, like they are just pouring their heart into it. They're like, this is the best thing ever. Like they truly believe that it can change people's lives for the better. Then do not work with them. I swear on my life, do not work with them because they will be the biggest headache you will ever experience because they are just a freaking chaotic mess. That is not their main focus. Do not work with them. With that said, let's get into what I'm doing now and also what I've learned. I guess I've already dropped what I've learned, but let's start with what I've learned. There's a few main things. You have to make what you're offering very, very clear, especially having an offer is the best. Like having a solid, like I will get you X result in X amount of time using X thing and sticking with that offer and having that be your backbone of your business. No matter if you video edit, copyright, doesn't matter. Literally anything. Be very clear with what you're offering and your terms. And also, speaking of terms, with your contracts, I suggest no matter who you are, whether you're freelance, whether you're an agency, it doesn't matter. Always have a contract. And most people are going to be like, oh, cool, send me the contract, whatever. But if you do commonly, this is fairly common, surprisingly or not, is some people, some business owners are like, why do I need a contract? That doesn't make sense. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, if you run into those people, that's also a sign to run the fuck away. It's like, how do I put this? For my guys watching this, it's like a girl telling you after you've been together or you're on your first or second date, this girl is amazing. But she tells you she has a body count of 1,000. She has 1,000 bodies, right? That's some crazy shit, right? That's a red flag if I've ever heard one. Now, this is not a common thing if we're talking about girls, but we're not talking about girls. We're talking about business. And it's the same equivalent thing. If people don't want to sign a contract and if people aren't just willing to be like, hey, totally, here's the contract. If they're not willing to read it over to increase their sales, their conversions, their whatever you're offering, their views on their video, it doesn't matter. If they're not willing to sign a contract, do not work with them. I swear to God, it's like a disease. I don't know why people work with people that don't sign contracts. But with that said, that's kind of like the second thing I've learned. And then 3 is don't work with low quality people. And this piggybacks off of everything I've already said, is just don't work with low quality people. It's not worth it. Again, I mean, I'll just restate this to kind of finish this part of the video up is if these people are not serious about doing what they're doing, do not work with them. They don't deserve help. And I'm not saying they don't deserve help in the sense that whatever, they don't deserve, right? Deserve. It's a very loose term. I'm using it very loosely. But the point is that you want to work with people that, one, you can like and trust. That's ultimate. But people that are serious. And that's pretty much it. I mean, people that have a good work ethic, good product, good service, whatever you're doing. And this goes hand in hand. If your product and your work ethic and whatever is dog shit, then you shouldn't be working. You need to fix yourself. You need to fix your product. You need to fix your service. This goes hand in hand. With that said, how am I going to move forward from this? How do I put it? How do I put it nicely to myself? Well, how do I move forward from this absolute blunder of losing 4 clients in one single week? Now, a few of them I kind of fired, a couple of them I fired, and a couple of them, I guess it's only 4. So 2 of them I fired, 2 of them, they said bye-bye. So they were like, bye-bye, I'll see you later. You're not making me money. You're too expensive. That's all they said. More or less. And basically what I've learned is... Oh, wait, no. Apologies. I'm not going to cut that out, but keep watching. Anyways, how I'm going to move forward from this is I realized that I'm in a very unprofitable niche, and I've been helping low-ticket people. So I'm a copywriter by trade, and I write words that sell people on buying stuff. Now, here's the thing. I've been working in very low leverage spaces, and that's low ticket. Anywhere from anything below $100 is basically low ticket. And all my clients have been low ticket, and they're all horrendous to work with. They're annoying. They're, for lack of a better word, stinky. Metaphorically, of course. But with that said, how I'm going to move forward from here is I've decided to pivot into an agency. And I uploaded a video, I think it's my last video, detailing over my whole plan for my agency this year. But go watch that. It's on my channel. But with that said, I'm going to move forward into an agency, an actual agency where I hire people, where I deliver the services, and where I charge a lot more money. A lot more. Like, a lot more. Like, it would take a few clients to reach $10K a month. That's how much more I'm going to be charging. So, with that said, I hope you stick along for the journey. That's what I've learned after losing literally 4 clients in a week. Some of them I fired, some of them I got fired. But with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe, like, show me some hate, show me some love. It's up to you. But with that said, that's how I'm going to be moving forward, pivoting into an agency. And in 2025, my goal is $1 million in revenue, and hopefully at least anywhere from 70 to 80% of that is profit. Now, again, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. And don't work with shitty people. Peace.